Pip, a piglet as plump and pink as a summer strawberry, adored naps. He lived in the Sunny Glade, a place so vibrant it looked as if a giant artist had spilled every color across the land. Shimmering streams chuckled over smooth stones, ancient trees wore cloaks of emerald leaves, and the air hummed with the sweet, sugary scent of sparkle bloom nectar. Yet, while his brothers Piff and Puff zipped around chasing sunbeams and leaping over dew-kissed toadstools, Pip preferred the softest patch of moss, dreaming of clouds shaped like giant cakes. The heart of the Sunny Glade's magic pulsed from the great dream pearl, nestled deep within the oldest, most magnificent sparkle bloom. Its gentle glow filled the valley with a magical calm, making every nap Pip took extra delightful. It was the soothing magic that made the glade such a haven of peace, a place where even the busiest creatures knew the joy of a quiet moment. One morning, the glade felt different. The usual golden sunbeams seemed a little dimmer, the sparkle bloom nectar tasted strangely bland, and the once vibrant greens and blues of the forest were fading to a muted pastel. Piff and Puff, usually full of boundless energy, looked strangely listless, their ears drooping. Suddenly, a tiny iridescent sprite, Flick, darted out from behind a fading violet petal, her wings, usually a kaleidoscope of colors, now flickering with a dull, anxious light. Oh dear, she chirped, wringing her tiny glowing hands. The great dream pearl, it's gone dim. A shadow has touched it. Pip, roused from a particularly lovely dream about a puddle of warm milk, just wanted to roll over. But Flick, her usually cheerful voice trembling, flitted directly into his field of vision. The Shadow Weaver is stealing the glade's magic. He drains the light and joy, turning dreams into weary yawns. If we don't act, our beautiful, vibrant home, will fade to gray forever. Pip, though still feeling the pull of his cozy moss bed, saw the genuine fear in Flick's sparkling eyes and the alarming dullness creeping over his beloved napping spot. He let out a long, dramatic sigh, stretched his plump legs, and, with a brave gulp, slowly agreed to go. Their first obstacle was the Whispering Willows, a grove of ancient trees with long, trailing branches that seemed to sigh and moan in the breeze. As they stepped beneath their drooping leaves, faint, unsettling whispers filled the air, tugging at their minds. Go back. It's too hard. You're too small. Too sleepy. Piff and Puff covered their ears, their courage wavering. But Pip, surprisingly, found that his lifelong familiarity with quiet moments and sleepy thoughts made him less susceptible to the doubts. He hummed a soft, wordless lullaby, a tune his mother used to sing, focusing on the calm in his heart. The whispers, as if soothed by his melody, softened and receded, allowing them to pass through the grove, which now seemed to sway gently, almost gratefully. Next, they reached the Rainbow River, its waters usually shimmering with every color imaginable. Now the colors were faint, like old watercolor paintings. The natural bridge of solidified rainbows was gone. Guarding the crossing was Mossbeard, a grumpy old gnome with a beard like tangled roots and eyes that squinted suspiciously. No passage, he grumbled, thumping his gnarled staff. Not unless you can offer me a song of true joy to rebuild the bridge. Piff and Puff tried their loudest, most boisterous songs, full of playful squeals, but Mossbeard merely scowled, clutching his ears. Pip, remembering the peace his own lullaby had brought, took a deep breath. He sang a soft, melodic tune about peaceful dreams and the quiet beauty of a sunrise. Mossbeard's eyes widened, then softened. A small, surprised smile spread across his face, and with a delightful twinkle, a new bridge of brilliant, swirling rainbows shimmered into existence. They continued into the Gloomwood, a place where the Shadow Weaver's influence was starkly visible. Trees were twisted into gnarled, shadowy shapes, and the air was thick with a heavy, oppressive stillness. The ground was cold and damp, and the only colors were murky purples and dull grays. Here they found a shimmering but dangerously fading fragment of the great dream pearl. Flick, her light now struggling to pierce the gloom, realized with a gasp. The Shadow Weaver isn't just hoarding the pearl's light, he's draining it, twisting its peaceful magic to empower his own dark realm. A faint, chilling whisper colder than the air, seemed to carry a name: Heartwood Hollow. It was the ancient, hollowed-out tree at the very center of the gloomwood. They crept towards the Heartwood Hollow, a massive skeletal tree that loomed against the sky like a silhouette of fear. Inside, the cavernous space pulsed with a malevolent, shadowy energy. At its heart, a swirling vortex of darkness. Was the Shadow Weaver, a formless, menacing entity with two piercing, glowing red eyes. He was absorbing the last fragile light of the great dream pearl, which was now barely a speck of luminescence. The air vibrated with a dark, heavy lethargy, threatening to lull them into an eternal, dreamless sleep. Pip, seeing the full horror of his home being extinguished, felt a surge of courage so powerful it chased away all sleepiness. The Shadow Weaver turned his glowing eyes on them, his voice a sibilant hiss that promised endless dark slumber. He tried to envelop them in heavy, suffocating shadows, whispering temptations of perfect, undisturbed rest. But Pip, who knew the difference between true restorative sleep and this oppressive lethargy, recognized the trick. This wasn't peaceful sleep. This was oblivion. He remembered the feeling of waking refreshed, ready for a new day. He channeled his inner calm, not for napping, but for focus and strength. While Piff and Puff, with Flick's bright guidance, created a diversion by zipping around and kicking up dust, Pip spotted a single, miraculously untouched sunbeam nectar blossom, glowing faintly with hopeful light, clinging to a crevice. With a powerful, determined squeal that echoed through the hollow, Pip grabbed a blossom. It felt warm and vibrant in his hoof. With every ounce of courage he had, he hurled the blossom directly at the Shadow Weaver. The nectar, a concentrated burst of light and joy, hit the swirling darkness. The Shadow Weaver shrieked, a sound of pure agony, and began to unravel. The dark vortex dissolved into harmless wisps of gray smoke, carried away by an invisible breeze. Released from its dark grasp, the great dream pearl, now fully restored, pulsed with a magnificent, radiant glow, bathing the Heartwood Hollow in warm, healing light. Ripples of vibrant color and joyful energy spread outwards, chasing the gloom from the gloomwood, bringing life back to the trees, and making the Rainbow River shimmer with renewed brilliance. Pip, no longer just sleepy, felt a new, exhilarating energy coursing through him. He understood that true rest wasn't about avoiding challenges, but about finding peace after brave actions. He had saved his home not with strength or speed, but with his unique understanding of calm and dreams, transforming his supposed weakness into his greatest strength. He still enjoyed a good nap, especially after a long adventure, but now he also loved a good challenge. The Sunny Glade was brighter and more joyful than ever, and Pip, the once sleepy piglet, was ready for whatever magical adventures came next.